Welcome to this episode of Cooking with the King Dude. I got my number one sous chef here. He's got his hat, got his shirt on. I'm going to show my man here and all of you how to dry brine. This is called dry brine. So, you ready to get started?
Yeah.
Let's do this. We are professionals. Don't try this at home. Actually, do try this at home.
What's the food gloves?
So for those of you that are wondering, are you going to put gloves on? I might put gloves on, but not because I'm afraid of germs or anything. I just don't want to get blood all over my hands and I've got to use this. But no, I'm not going to use the glove. Check these ribeyes out.
USDA Prime.
This is prime. The marbling on that. It's really nice. Yeah. So we got two that are about that size, same size, and we have two smaller ones, a little more for the ladies, a little more petite. But the marbling is good all through, and this is what you want. It's why you choose a ribeye, because of this and because of this, that's really nice. Yeah, that's really nice. So the purpose of the dry brine, it would be the same thing as if you were gonna marinate it in a brine. But because it's beef, if you marinate it in brine, you're gonna change its color. Like the beef jerky, you're gonna suck the blood out of it. So the salt's gonna take all the blood out of it. Which is why, you cure your chicken, you brine your chicken. So you're basically ceviche cooking it at that point. Pork is great. You'll notice if you put nice pink center cut pork chops into a nice brine with some sugar and some salt and some peppercorns, when they come out, they'll have changed in color. They'll have gone from pink to almost a beige, a tan color. That's because you're removing the blood. We are red meat guys. We don't want to remove the blood. So what we're going to do is what I call dry brining. And I actually got this from my good friend. I think you ever met my friend Rusty. Rusty's a good old-fashioned Cajun guy. And Rusty's like, man, I love to dry brine. And I'm like, bro, what's dry brine? How do you dry brine? Brine, by definition, is liquid. You're basically going to salt pack it, which is the oldest food preservation system in the world. So, ingredients: kosher salt, only kosher. If you use regular salt, you're going to ruin what I'm about to show you to do. And the reason is because you're going to put 5 times the amount on it. Because it's going to look like it's the same amount, but it's not. Because this is big. The grind is different than kosher salt. And then the main ingredient, he just flew away. The main ingredient is my Acadiana steak seasoning. This is available at Mike Church, at shop.mikechurch.com. In 16-ounce jars and in these bags currently. It took 2 years for us to develop this particular. This is actually beef and butter. So first thing we're going to do to dry brine is the brine part, which is, I'm going to give you some, Brother Colonel. Make a nice healthy douse of that on your steaks. Kind of rub it in. Yep, perfect. Now it may look, and the first thing you may be thinking is, let me grab the camera. You may be thinking that, wow, that's a lot of salt, TKD. So that's what they're looking like right now. It looks like it's a lot of salt, but let me let you in on a little trade secret. Most of that cooks off. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Yes, we're going to salt both sides.
See that little spot? That's my sister's house.
So you gonna hop on the four-wheeler and go over.
Yeah. So that was them digging dirt on the table. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's a nice little area.
Nice guy.
I enjoy it. That's me looking for.
That's nice. But again, it looks like it's a lot, but it's really not.
Oh,
But
here it is.
because it's kosher
This is
salt,
what it actually
it does different things. And when it starts to cook, it actually will kind of combine with the meat. Then we're gonna take our rub.
That's his little boy that was doctor, and so now Julie.
We want to completely coat.
And that's her other child. She's got a daughter too.
Pat that in.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, so that's just the minutia.
Three Stooges bit. No. You ever seen the Three Stooges bit? A
Yeah.
pinch of salt.
Are you like, so you're gonna like walk up some steps?
That'll be for, yeah. And the reason
That's
I
pinch of
say
salt.
that is because
So,
we-
same thing on the other side.
We picked our 2 acres of land on that property. His is elevated here, so it
Yep.
kinda, it will drain behind.
No right or wrong way to do this, but you just wanna cover it.
I'm gonna use that.
And then I'm gonna show you the secret part about this, or the really interesting part about it, is what it does.
So, I just wanted it to be a little more
Alright,
elevated.
you pat that down.
And there, another reason is on this side of the house.
So you can see that the stakes are now
I'm all about levels.
completely
Yeah,
covered.
they look better.
Now, are you guys gonna be on, septic as well, or?
If I just asked you, what do you think we're gonna do next? What would you say?
And the studio one is on it,
Nice.
so it's
Wrap them in cheesecloth.
No,
You've got a septic tanks.
maybe with some cheese, maybe wrap them in bacon. So what you're gonna do now is, we're gonna go have a drink and come back in about 20 minutes.
I can do that.
So you can see, you see how it's, you can actually see the rub. In its powder form. When we come back in about 20 minutes and we'll show you this,
No way to dig a well unless you.
this will be liquid.
Not yet.
X amount of.
There's your brine.
Foot.
Oh,
Dig a well.
I know.
So you want this to start to absorb, the blood's gonna come up, the salt's gonna start to soak in, this is gonna turn liquid. It'll be dark, it'll look like you painted it with some paprika, That is a grill, y'all. So you say this is the sear side?
That's the searing side.
Party lights and everything. And we have party lights that.
I see the lights. So we can get this side hotter? Is that why you call it the searing side?
Yes. This is for searing.
Perfect.
This baby gets.
We don't need
screaming
we don't
hot.
need a pan. That's fine. We might need a pan to sit on, to get a little weight on it. So I'm thinking that, and then we'll go over
So
here for
you want
the
to do the
finish.
searing first
Yes.
versus a reverse sear.
Yes.
I do the reverse sear, but we'll do it your
I'm
way.
going to
today.
show you why that reverse sear. Why you're going to love this sear. All right, so this is our cooking setup here. We'll be back in a little bit. We got to go upstairs and I'll show you the result of the dry brine in just a moment. Welcome back to this little episode of Cooking with the King Dude. By the way, while we wait, we hydrate on the world's finest. The Widow Jane bourbon we're drinking today. Here's to the Widow Jane.
Cheers.
So, what do you see now, David?
All right. Well, just like you said, it's the steak is soaking in the seasoning, and the moisture's coming to the top, and we can see where the all the rub is turning dark color.
And let me point the main feature out that I want y'all to see and you to see. See how our kosher salt, almost like it rose to the top.
Yep.
It came through the rub. See that?
Yes.
So when I said you don't worry about how much salt you put on it, because you're thinking like, man, that's gonna be too salty. Our kosher salt has already risen to the top. It'll stay there. Okay, we're gonna wait a little longer until it all comes to the surface. When we go to sear, it's gonna burn off. But we got a nice salt soak in with the brine. So we want this to be complete. Like this one is almost done. These two over here, probably let these sit another 10 minutes. We're not in a hurry. But this is the exact progress. This is what you want to see. And what, 15 minutes now, I think? We're not keeping time because, we're hydrating. 25?
35.
We're at 35 minutes?
Yes.
Wow. All right, so you add an extra hour to your cook time. So we'll come back then in 15 minutes. Check on us, we'll be ready to go. Another tool you're going to need, parchment paper or wax paper. You can get this called cookie paper. You can get it on a roll, parchment paper, doesn't matter. And what we're going to do with this is when these are ready, we're going to wrap them in the paper and I'll show you. And then in the freezer they go. And we'll tell you all about that. Remember, you can get your Acadiana Steaks seasoning at shop.mikechurch.com.
There'll be a link in the video at the bottom of it. You can click it. It'll take you right to the store. You can buy the product.
Flashing arrow, car sales guy. We'll be back in 10 minutes, 15.
We're gonna hydrate some more.
Acadiana Steak Rub, This is your final result. I'm gonna grab the camera, I'm gonna show you. How many minutes are we at now?
We are at 45 minutes.
So 45 minutes. And this is what it looks like at 45 minutes. Feast your eyes. And you can see what I was showing you earlier. See how the salt has risen to the top? We didn't do that. We didn't just fake it and sprinkle salt on top of that. It actually comes up, you'll see that the fine paprika and the other spices and seasonings have now basically married themselves into the meat. So we're ready to go. So now for the really interesting part that most people would think is kind of nutty is actually the freezer. So, we have parchment paper, take our steak, put it into the parchment paper, again it's no right or wrong way. You're basically just going to cover it, wrap it up like it's a Big Mac, and set it on the side. Now that is perfectly done. Let me walk through and get a better shot of that. That is completely brined. So now you can see that even though it's dry brining, there is liquid involved. You can also see that the salt has completely risen to the top. And so the first thing that's going to cook off when we go on the sear is going to be the salt. But there's enough salt content on it. There's enough salt content in what we've already done to give us a nice salty, salt and pepper kind of flavor. So these go in the freezer on the website where you're going to get your Acadiana steak seasoning at shop.mikechurch.com. Click that link at the bottom of the video. I beat you to it. See that? See, I learned already. It goes by inch thickness. We started an inch. Anything less than an inch is not a steak. You might as well have it sliced up and make a pastrami sandwich out of it. So you started an inch, inch and a quarter, inch and a half, inch and 3/4, 2 inches. Anything over 2 inches, that's up to you. You're going to have to experiment with it. If it's a fillet, we do have a 3-inch thick setting for how long you freeze. But basically, just think about it common sensely or logically. The thicker that piece of meat is, the less time you need to freeze it. Because you're freezing it so that you can sear the snot out of it. You want to be able to push that joker down and put extreme heat on it, but you don't want the inside cooking. We go into the other side of his grill in this instance, where we do it on an egg, or you do it on a whatever grill you have. You can do it on the cast iron skillet. You sear this first, or you lock your juices in, and then you're going to medium heat cook it for the remainder of the time. And we're going to show you that when we go out to the grill. So this has been a completely successful prep. That's our product. We're going to go in the freezer. And
How long in the freezer can you do?
so for this thickness, this is 1.25 inches. And since I know we have a super hot sear, that grill that Napoleon is actually made to sear, I would normally only do 60 minutes. I'm going to go 75 minutes. So I'm going to go 75 minutes to make sure that if we want to cook a rare steak for someone, that we have enough freeze in it, because the freeze is going to stop it from cooking. It just slows the cooking process down, so you can sear longer and get that little crust. What Guy Fieri would call like, look at it, I got the crunch on the steak. You want the Guy Fieri crunch, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So, get you a bag of Acadiana steak seasoning. This video is obviously what you're watching. The link is at the bottom of the page, and we'll see you in 75 minutes at Chez Kernall's Outdoor Grill, here on the Cooking with the King Dude show, and my friend David Kernall. So here we are at the grill site, and this is a really, really awesome setup. On this side, we have a searing side. This is a Napoleon brand. On this side, we have a cooking side. So the first thing we're going to do is sear, just like we do on the egg and just like we do in the frying pan. We're going to sear. We have our sage, Kerrygold melted, and sage butter ready to go. That goes on our steaks on the sear side down. So we're going to sear, and we're going to sear 3 of them, which we're going to cook at medium rare. They call it medium rare plus. I'm going to cook theirs about a minute and a half too long, 2 minutes longer than I cook mine. I'm going to cook Maggie's though. I'm going to knock the hooves off and done. Okay, so my number one sous chef. So here's what we're going to do. We're gonna wrap these guys, and oh, those are perfect. See all the kosher salt at the top, exactly what we want. And these are frozen really nicely. We probably got an extra half an hour on them just because of the timing and the process. No worries, all good. So you can see that we're not joking when we say we're actually going to cook frozen steaks. We actually are. And they're going to come out amaze balls, as my wife likes to say. If your wife doesn't like to say amaze balls, you might need to introduce that to her vocabulary. So, Mr. Colonel, we are set here.
Alrighty.
Check this out. Little handy dandy cast iron butter melter. So we just want to give this
Bathe it in butter.
well, we just want to give it something so that when it hits the grill, it's got something to burn, other than the spices that we put on there. And butter is really good at burning, and will make a nice grill mark. So what we want on this side is grill marks. So this is about a half a pound of melted butter with 1 tablespoon of rubbed sage in it. And that's just to reinforce the flavor profile we already have from the Acadiana steak rub, which you can get at shop.mikechurch.com.
There'll be a link in the bottom of the video. You can click it, it'll take you right there. Buy now. There better be a link at the bottom.
There will be a link at the bottom, I promise. So if you get a close-up of this, you can see that these are, you see what it did to the butter? It just frozen on top. So that's exactly what we want. We're good to go. Our temperature's good here. So
Over 600 degrees.
we're at
Fahrenheit.
600 some odd degrees. So this is going to be some sear magic.
All right, so do I need to do anything on this grill?
We're gonna get this guy up to 300.
300?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to pick this one and this one. And Candace, can you come around and to see this? Because what I want to show you is that's your angle. What I want to do is go contra that. Let's let the fire die down a little bit. I'm going to need my gloves here because I can feel how hot that is in there already. And I wanted to
Did
see
you start
it.
a timer?
No,
One
90
time.
seconds. So we're going to do 90 seconds on this. Now, I've never cooked it actually this temperature. We might want to actually tamp this down just a little bit. We don't want to burn this. If you can see the temp gauge, it's at 700.
It's because it lit up on fire.
It lit up when we put the steaks on there. So we actually, so this is a kind of a searing tool, and there may be too much flame in there for me to get in there and sear. That is really, really roaring. So we do it at an angle, because we'll do it for 90 seconds, and then we'll keep them on the same side, and we'll turn them exactly 90 degrees, and that will give us the perfect little grill mark that you see at the Western Sizzler Horse Meat Cafe. While we wait, I thought about this and I couldn't think of it. While we delay, we feel it, no. There's only so many, we sip.
While we delay, we soiree.
There you go.
While we delay, we soiree.
Right.
This
How
is a
about
soiree.
How about that? Yeah, while we delay, we soiree.
He is at 8,000 degrees Kelvin. He is at the center of the sun. Okay, I think we're gonna have to flip these guys. And it's a good thing. Oh yeah, you are charred. Maggie's steak goes on last.
I just want to. That's a lot.
And with that, that's all you're gonna get is this.
How much time you want on Maggie's?
2 seconds.
Based on that, it's
2
30
seconds.
seconds.
All right, the counter's on.
So you can see, part of learning, part of cooking and part of this, cooking on new equipment and stuff is always experimental. You don't know. You just put this into the knowledge base and we go from there. So we've never cooked on a Napoleon searing side. So we just know now, next time we do it, we're gonna tamp it down to 500 degrees. Because we started at 8,000 degrees Kelvin. Oh, the Prosecco has arrived. That means my cameraman is going to be lost.
Can I show my beautiful glass?
You may.
Store. I know. Mine spilled out. I poured it too fast, so it went all over the countertop.
That is fancy.
You got 1 minute, dude.
I already
Okay.
flipped. I already turned her. See, we're trying to find something that rhymes with
Hydrate.
sip, shoot, while we, because it's,
Wait or
When we
sip
regroup,
or
we shoot.
regroup.
Sipping as we're chipping
When
away-
we
sipping as
delay,
we're
we
chipping away
soiree.
at dinner.
When we wait, we hydrate.
while we wait, we hydrate. We got that one down, but we stole that from Stale Cracker.
We can't steal his.
Okay,
his
when we
slogan.
delay, we soiree.
When we delay, we soiree. Now, Stale Cracker, what are you gonna do about that? Hmm? You're gonna have to go back to the bank, bro. You're gonna have to go back to the drawing board, and you're gonna have to draw.
Hey, when we grill, we chill.
We chill.
You regale us with your quips as we sip.
Regardless of your equip, we sip. Okay, I think that, again, we're gonna make a super
It's
rare one
actually, you're
here.
on 2 minutes
What is
right
it?
now.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's equip and sip.
30 seconds.
Equip and sip.
All right. 30 seconds. Have a sip of that.
But one of the things, one of the advantages that I can already see on this is we got a little bit too much char on this side. But you have, look, your fat is totally charred. But that is still, see how I push that? Can you see that? See how I push that? How it gives? So you're still good in medium rare right there. See that? See, when I push down and it gives, that gives me my meat temperature. We're right now, that's medium rare.
Do you want a meat thermometer?
Now,
You
no,
don't need one?
no real steak chef will ever use a meat thermometer. All I need is that. So these are done, actually. So we're gonna put
Okay.
these up on the top shelf.
Put them on. I'll shut that side off.
Okay. And the good part about that is that is basically, those steaks are blackened. Maggie, yours is absolutely done.
Okay, well, don't be putting it on more heat.
This is the side that's off. I'm gonna put it on top of another steak to absorb.
You know, if it's done, I'll just shut this off.
So we just shut everything off, I think, and we are good to go. Our steaks are cooked. We'll come back in a couple of minutes after we plate them up, and we'll do a little herb butter on the plates. We got potatoes and asparagus and some awesome Michael David wine to pair it all up with. So while we try out new equip, we sip. The link's at the bottom of the page to get a bag of Acadiana steak seasoning. This has been live from Shea Kernall, totally unexpected.
And with every purchase of rub, you'll get a free mic.
Wait a minute, no, do not, no. You will get it free, it will only cost you $14.95, and after that it's free. Baseball cap. Cooking with a King Dude baseball cap. All right, it's been a pleasure, and our pleasure and our joy in sharing our steak cooking experience with you. We have one more shot coming up, which is the really fun part, which is eating, and then the serving of the wine. Tap the link down at the bottom of the page there
How
for
about
the
this?
link.
the next 10 people that go on MikeChurch.com shop will get a free hat. Compliments of Bulldog Kia. How about that?
Boom, done. Yeah, on him. Absolutely. Thank you all for watching. Acadiana Steak Season at shop.mikechurch.com. Till we see you next time. God bless you, Mary.
And we'll see you at
Wait,
Oh.
we'll see you
At Bulldog
Bulldog
Kia.
Kia. God bless you, Mary Keith. I've got butter, Kerrygold butter with rub sage. I'm just going to do a little on top. You don't need much. And then we're going to need to move this one that's still moving. Oh, it's still alive. Look at
Poor
that.
Henry.
That is perfect mid-rare. You can see the blood coming out of it. And that is... that is how you do a...
It's muy bien.
It's muy bien. That is how you do a
That was a good
Acadiana
one.
steak rub throwdown at Bulldog Kia steak feast. Look, y'all, feast your eyes on that. This guy Fieri would say, look, you got your crunch, you got your grill marks. This is absolute goodness. Can't wait to dig in. Till next time, we'll see you at Bulldog Kia. Tap the link at the bottom of the page. Get yourself a bag of Acadiana steak seasoning. And God bless you. And keep you. Let's eat